Good day, everyone. Nice of you to join us. I'm happy to welcome with us three of the guest editors who have participated in publishing focus issues with us in the last year, in 2018. I'm Gary Messing, and I'm from the Department of Material Science and Engineering at Penn State University, and also editor-in-chief of the Journal of Materials Research. The reason for this particular video is to bring to your attention the call for proposals for 2020 focus issues of JMR. The proposals to co-edit a focus issue are due on January 20, so about a month from now, next year, 2019. Focus issues are devoted entirely to a single topic and are published several times a year. Focus issues allow the journal to comprehensively examine a current research topic of particular interest to JMR readers. They are composed of an assortment of invited feature papers, review articles, and original research papers. The focus issues are typically highly cited editions of JMR. I should add, for those of you who are thinking about proposing a focus issue, that focus issues are not conference proceedings. So if you're coming from a symposium and you think, I'll just do a conference proceedings out of it, that's not exactly a focus issue. Focus issues could be part of a conference, of course, but it also entails having access to authors from any other place who have nothing to do with your particular meeting. The topical areas of focus issues are similar to those that you would see at Materials Research Society meetings, both the spring meeting and the fall meeting, as well as special topic meetings that MRS holds. For example, we are particularly interested in topics like 2D materials. We've done a couple of editions on 2D materials. We're very interested in perovskite solar cells, additive manufacturing of metals, biomaterials, nanoscale materials, and such phenomena, active polymers, and porous metals. These are just examples. Of course, you're welcome to think of topics that you think might be suitable for a focus issue. You can also see the range of topics that have been covered in focus issues at the JMR website. So if you can go to the call for proposals site, you'll note that another click away, you'll see all the focus issues that we've published. There's quite a few of them. It's just to give you an idea of the topics that we do publish. The process for proposing a focus issue is to download the focus issue proposal form. Potential guest editors propose a topic, a list of prospective authors and papers, and a geographically diverse set of 3 or 4 guest editors. A member of the JMR editorial board will also be asked to participate and provide guidance during the editorial process. Today, we are joined by 3 MRS members who have served as guest editors on a focus issue. I'll just introduce their names and their affiliations, and then we'll start with some Q&A with them. So Lorenzo Valdivit, he is from UC Irvine. He was the guest, one of the Lorenzo Valdivit was one of the co-guest editors of Architected Materials, which was 10 papers and published in February of 2018. Tianyan Liu of Virginia Tech, who was a guest editor on porous carbon and carbonaceous materials for energy storage, 22 papers published in May. And then the last one, Dr. Michael Gao from National Energy Technology Lab, published a focus issue on fundamental understanding and applications of high entropy alloys, of which there were 35 papers, and that was published in October in 2018. So, Lorenzo, let me start with you. First question, where did the topic that you guys published on come from, and how did you and your colleagues decide to publish a focus issue?
Okay, so the focus issue we organized was on architected materials, and I've done this together with Katia Bertoldi at Harvard, Jamie Guest at Johns Hopkins, and Christopher Spadaccini at Lawrence Livermore National Lab. And the architected materials community has grown considerably, I would say, over the past 2 decades. But for the first 10 years, it was largely a solid mechanics and structural design effort with very, very little material science in it, at least on our side of the community. And then starting around 2010, there's been a huge interest in applying novel additive manufacturing approaches to exploit nanoscale material size effects on properties. And the community really blossomed and it grew considerably. And I would say that now it's a great intersection of material science, advanced manufacturing, soil mechanics, and design. And so we really wanted to capture that interest first in a conference setting. So we organized a couple of symposia at the MRS fall meeting. 2013 was our first one. We did another one in 2015. And the interest in the first two symposia was huge. There were a number of papers submitted. There were very, very high quality talks. And it seemed very timely to organize a focused issue on the same topic. And that's how it came about.
It sounds very interesting, Lorenzo. I have to say that in reviewing that particular focus issue, some of the most striking images of materials in very interesting forms, the so-called architected materials, very interesting. Dr. Liu, would you talk a little bit about where the origin of your topic came from and how did you pull together an issue with your colleagues?
Sure. I'm Dr. Tianyu Liu from Virginia Tech. And for me, the story is pretty straightforward. Our focus issue is about porous carbon and carbonaceous materials for energy storage and conversion, which is the research topic of my PhD studies. And I'm continuing this research field for my postdoc research. So that's like the straightforward thing is I want to pick the topic that I feel I'm most capable of handling submissions is. So that's why I picked this topic. And in terms of the motivation to run this focus issue, my primary motivation is to gain some experience from the editorial processes. Because my career goal is I want to be an editor for like scientific journals, and I'm thinking about getting this editorial experience will be indispensable for my career development. So driven by this point, I successfully persuaded my PhD advisor, Professor Ya Li, at the University of California, Santa Cruz. And so he also suggested me to contact our two collaborators who are Dr. Marcus Worsley from Lawrence Livermore National Lab and Professor Ten Zai from Nanjing University of Science and Technology in China. So we four together teamed up and proposed our focus issue. And luckily, our focus issue was accepted.
Oh, very good. Thank you, Dr. Liu. Actually, the issue turned out to be very good. Like I said, 22 papers, and it's really a very nice comprehensive coverage of the topic. Dr. Gao, we won't see you in live action. I guess limitations of being at a national lab, but I understand we have audio from you, and you pulled together a really fantastic issue on high entropy alloys. You want to give us some insights about how you and your colleagues pulled together that topic?
Sure. So my name is Michael Gao. I'm from National Energy Technology Laboratory. And so we have 3 guest editors to organize this special issue. And so they are Dr. Dan Miracle from Department of Defense Air Force Research Laboratory and Professor Peter Nell from University of Tennessee. So the high entropy alloys is a very hot topic since 2004. Why? Because they focus on compositions in the facility of a multi-component phase diagram. And these compositions are usually not started in the past. So the field is very hot and evolving very rapidly. And we feel probably at the time to put together a comprehensive issue to present to the readers on what's the status in terms of fundamental understanding and also for application point of view. So in terms of fundamental means we look into what governs the formation of high entropy alloys, thermodynamics, kinetics, and what kind of structures and the defects, mechanical properties and the magnetic properties, superconducting properties, environmental properties. And more important, we want to look into what kind of application that could be good for industry. For example, could be used for structural materials and coatings, nuclear materials, and high temperature materials. And that's how we decided to go forward. And we choose Journal of Materials Research, and because this journal is a very flexible in terms of numbers of papers, it doesn't require a fee for the author to publish a paper, and also the journal is very well known for strict procedure for quality control. For example, JMR sets up standards for peer review papers, not just a review paper, and require 2 reviewers, and we like JMR. Hi, Gary. That's all I can say.
Okay, Michael, that was very nice. Thank you so much. One of the hallmarks of your particular issue, I will add, is the number of high-profile people, basically the best people in the field, published in that issue through either review articles, original research, and invited feature papers. It was very impressive, the array of authors that you have in that particular issue. Lorenzo, I'd like to come back to you and talk to you a little bit about the handling of the review. How do you define that process? You know, as a guest editor, you now have this issue that you're responsible for. How did that work out for you?
I would say everything takes time, of course, but it was as easy as one could have hoped. We found it a great experience to work with the MRS staff. There's huge support in general, not just for focused issue, but publication, but also to organize conferences and symposia. It's always been such a pleasure working with the staff. The web portal is well polished. It's from the MRS support standpoint. It's been as easy as it could have been. Our issue was fairly small. We only had 10 papers and almost exclusively invited, so maybe that made things even easier than on average. But I didn't find it overwhelming in any way. We didn't have any issues securing reviewers for the papers, and reviews were turning quite timely. So it was the first time for me organizing a special issue, but it was a great experience. And if the reason why people say I don't want to do it is because we are afraid of the time involved with the review process, I would say that's not a good reason not to do it.
Okay, very good, thanks. Tianyu, you started with going into this with the idea that, okay, this is going to be a good experience to expose you to how to handle reviews in a journal where you're responsible for that. How did that work out for you and your team?
Again, the same situation is we got lots of helps from the JMR editorial team and also the online submission system as well. So particularly the editorial team, they are really supportive for our review process. And they will provide you the system, and we can search the keywords of the submission, and we'll get a long list of the reviewers, and we can see from the list that how many papers this reviewer has reviewed before, and what is the average rating of the reviewers. So that will really facilitate my reviewing process. Like it's not really a big difficult thing for me to identify the best reviewers for the paper. And sometimes we did meet one situation, just a little bit challenging, is we invited a reviewer, but the reviewer was not responsive, and our processing process was delayed significantly by the unresponsive reviewer. So during that case, I remember the editorial team reached out to us and asked us if we have any other suggestions for that. And for that situation, I just jumped in to review that paper, so that solved the problem. So, I mean, in general, this reviewing process is really hassle-free. We don't have any really headache problems encountered during the process.
So you learn one of the first lessons of being an editor, and that is
right.
You just have to get in there and do it yourself.
Yes.
As long as it's your topic, it's something that you just do.
Yeah. Yes.
So Michael Gao, you handled a lot of papers. How did you guys manage with that?
Well, so I agree with Lorenz and Tianyu. You know, the significant help from the JMR the stuff. You know, significant. It's pretty good, and also the layout of the system is pretty good, easy for us to use. And then since we have so many papers, so we divide the workloads among 3 of us. I mean, so like each person, based on the the capability and the experiences, so we divide the paper, and typically we invited 3 to 4 reviewers. Sometimes the invited may not respond. Sometimes they sometimes they got too busy. They forgot to or they failed to submit a review. So in case currently we have 2 reviews submitted. So. And in terms of finding quality reviews, so I normally use Web of Knowledge and Google Scholars, and also reference cited in the paper to identify quality reviewers. We want to have good reviewers, so we need to find, good reviewers. So that's how I find it. So.
Okay. Well, okay. So it sounds like you had a good experience overall, though. I kind of followed your process because I was kind of following the high entropy topic during the time you were putting together your issue. And I was very impressed with how expeditious the reviews got through. You guys did a terrific job. So maybe one final question for you all. I mean, we have people watching the video with the idea that perhaps they would like to submit a proposal to do a focus issue. Any guidance, any advice to them? Lorenzo, you want to make a stab at this question?
Sure. I think I have 3 pieces of advice that I would like to give. In my experience, starting with a successful symposium worked out very well. It's not necessary by any means, but it was a great way to get a sense of how much interest there is in the field, how broad is the field. You get people presenting papers on topics that maybe you thought were only tangentially involved, but then you get a lot of interest from the community, and that can really tune you to write the call for papers in a more precise and in a sharper way. So that's certainly something that is worth doing. Again, it's not necessary, but it worked out very well for us. You also have a mailing list of potential authors already from the participants of the symposium, so that certainly helps. The other thing I would say was important for us, and it worked out well, is that I would suggest to assemble an editorial team that is as diverse as possible. In terms of gender, in terms of seniority, in terms of what type of institutions we work with, whether it's industry, government, academia, what nationality they are, what countries they come from. It really, of course, diversifies the kind of submissions that you can get. And of course, you want to have also co-editors that have, while they all belong to the same community, they should have somewhat different research interests so that they can collect people from a wide range of fields. So that was number 2. And then the third thing I would say is that I think junior scientists should do this. It's a fantastic networking opportunity. It's a great way to increase your visibility in your professional community. You will need to invite authors, to invite reviewers, to interact with reviewers, to review yourself, right? To write an introductory piece for the focus issue. And it really increases the visibility and your standing in the field. And of course, a great professional service activity for everybody at any level of seniority. But I think it's really particularly unique for junior scientists. They're not yet well known in the community. You go from your advisor knowing you to half of the field knowing you in 3 months, and that's really priceless. Of course, you want to probably put somebody a bit more senior on the editorial board, not just do it yourself. But again, if you're saying, well, I'm just starting, I might do this after I get tenure, I might do this after I get to full professor. Don't wait, just do it. It's a great experience, and the sooner you do it, the better it is. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, so great learning experience. So Dr. Liu, so what is your thought on this?
Cool. I completely agree with our previous speaker about lots of things about, for example, being like acting fast. I agree. I just want to add 2 more points about that. The first thing is we need to, I think if you want to propose a focus issue, you need to think about the topic, whether it's broad enough to be conclusive or that possible that you can commission a large number of papers or a broad range of papers into your focus issue. So, because I believe a successful focus issue is not just about really specialized in just one topic. For example, for our focus issue, we target energy conversion and storage applications, so which covers batteries, capacitors, fuel cells, or even for like carbon for photoelectrochemistry applications. So that's my criteria of selecting a topic that can be transformed into a focus issue later. So this one thing is when you try to design your focus issue, you want to think about whether this topic will be fruitful or will be interesting enough to attract those authors to submit their papers into your focus issue. And the second thing is, when I'm thinking about being a successful focus issue, the first thing is your issue proposal should be accepted first. So you might want to spend some time to craft your proposals to make it like an abstract of the paper that you're shooting for Nature or Science paper, something like that. How to write it appealingly, and that reviewed by including Professor Messing here and the editorial team to convince them that your focus issue will be a success in JMR or in other materials research society managed journals. So I think that's the thing, is you want to spend some time to think about how you write the introduction of your proposals, and that proposal eventually will also be delivered or will be seen by the potential authors that read the email of the call for papers. So you want to make them to feel excited and want to participate into your focus journal.
Well, that's terrific advice. Thank you very much. And Michael, Dr. Gao, is there anything else that we've missed with the previous editors?
Yeah, so they summarize it very, very well. So I really, totally agree with them. And I think it's a very good opportunity to grow your career, and I encourage researchers in the early or middle career to take advantage of this opportunity. The one thing I want to add is that on your invited list, make sure that you have a sufficient number of leaders in your field. And so, the participation from those leaders is significant to boost your focus issue. The way I do it, when I first send the first round of invitation, I gave them 2 weeks to consider, and also I tend to avoid overlapping between topics. Each topic, and I invited one leaders in the field. If the person doesn't respond, within 2 weeks, I will invite another one in the same topic. So that's how we are successful in our focus issue. We have very high profile leaders in each topic in the field. And, so I'm very happy with the publish of this special issue. I think that's all I can say. Thank you, Gary.
Okay, Michael, thank you very much. I think an important point you make, though, is that there is hard work to be done when doing a focus issue. You're inviting people who you may not know very well, who are leaders in the field, and you're trying to encourage them to participate with you in that publication. And there's a lot of work involved with doing that part. But I think it's, as all of you have acknowledged, it's actually quite useful, very nice for the development of your own professional reputation and growth. So with that, I think we'll conclude our video for the day. I'd like to thank you all for participating. Particularly, we're only a few days away from the Christmas break. And with that, I'd just like to remind everybody that the deadline for the call for proposals is January 20, so 1 month from now. So get your teams together, get your topics, and we look forward to seeing your proposals. Thanks to you again very much, everyone, for participating. Bye-bye.